Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're taking a look at another one of the updates from the Season 19 Balance Patch, and that is Thunder Punch being given to Lucario. Lucario, definitely a fan favorite Pokemon, is a fighting and steel type Pokemon that typically runs the moveset of Counter, Power Up Punch, and Shadow Ball. But today I'm running an interesting moveset of Counter, Thunder Punch, and Close Combat, so forgoing the Ghost coverage, but I do have a cheaper nuke move. Lucario is very attack weighted, which means it is going to be difficult to use in the Great League, but I'm excited to take on the challenge. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and let's test out Thunder Punch Lucario in action in the Great League. We are off to a terrible start in the first match. Cresselia into Skarmory. I save switch into Annihilate. Opponent responds with a Shadow Swampert. This is a bit of a surprise, and not an amazing check to my Annihilate whatsoever. Opponent ends up respecting the potential Ice Punch, which works out quite nicely for me. I'm now going to be able to fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash would come close to KOing here, but I believe Shadow Swampert can hang on, but the opponent really wants the Annihilate gone. They double shield, and that's quite a surprise. I am just going to let this through. I am more than happy to just take my shield advantage, and now send in the Cresselia. Cresselia going to be a very effective damage sponge in this moment, and I'm going to have to rely on Lucario with this heavy-hitting moveset of Thunder Punch and Close Combat up a shield to try and close in the endgame. Grass Knot is going to pick up the KO. In comes Skarmory, answered with Lucario. In the back, it's Quagsire, and Quagsire, I need to shield in case this is a potential Mud Bomb, and it is the Mud Bomb, so they're 4 off the next. So I'm going to farm up, go for the Close Combat, winning Charge Attack priority. Lucario is basically going to win Charge Attack priority over everything you're going to see. Close Combat picks up the KO, even with the debuff to my defense. The nice thing here is I'm resisting the Steel Wings. I fire off the Thunder Punch. That does big damage to the Skarmory. Skarm needs a farm down to win, and they're not going to get it. Lucario makes Thunder Punch number 2, knocking Skarmory out of the skies and taking the Game 1 victory. Moving to the next match, leading Cresselia into Wigglytuff. I am so happy to see this Wigglytuff on the lead with 2 fighters in the back, so I'm going to stay in here. Wigglytuffs love to shield and go for Icy Wind debuffs, so I'm going to bait here with the Grass Knot, and the bait is successful as the Wigglytuff will commit the shield. My opponent is going to be able to outpace here, making it to the Icy Wind just before I make my next charge attack. Icy Wind, of course, comes with the guaranteed attack drop, meaning that my charge attacks will now be less effective. I fire off the Moonblast. Moonblast, not going to do a ton to that Wigglytuff. I'm looking to farm up a ton of energy and go for Moonblast number 2. This will not KO, but I'm hoping it puts them into counter snipe range, but it's a high rank Wigglytuff. They live with a fraction of HP. I respect the Disarming Voice just to get hit with Icy Wind, and I'm going up against a D-Gen team as they send in Shadow Victory Bell. But if I've seen the Wigglytuff and I've seen the Victory Bell, I have good news about what's in back. It's going to be a Bastiodon, and I have Lucario. Unfortunately, I'm unable to make it to a second charge move. I went for the Night Slash thinking that I would be able to make it to 2, but unfortunately, I was not able to do so. But now, I'm going to get a counter down with Lucario. My defense has been debuffed, but even at -2 defense, Smackdowns are going to do nothing here. My only lose con is my opponent catching, and as long as I throw on good timing, they can't let that happen. So they try and go for the catch, it's unsuccessful, and now I have a very clear path to victory. I get to debuff my defense 2 more stages, so my defense is now -4, but it's not going to matter. Close Combat number 1 gets shielded, but Close Combat number 2 picks up the KO onto the Bastiodon, and we take the win. Hopping into the next match, picking up a positive lead, Cresselia versus Goodra. Now Goodra, honestly, very happy to see this here, because I can hit it for super effective with Moonblast. I overfarm to pretend that I don't have Moonblast and that this is a future sight, but they do not fall for it. Neither Power Whip nor Aqua Tail is going to do a ton of damage, and obviously it doesn't have Thunder Punch yet, so I am getting a no shield. It's a Draco Meteor. I was not ready for that. I send in Annihilate. Opponent is going to respond with Skarmory, and this is really not looking amazing for me. I will commit the shield and look to overfarm to a point where the Shadow Ball is going to be enough to KO. So this way, my opponent, I don't think they're going to want to shield the Skarmory, so they're just going to let that through, and then I have a ton of energy for whatever they decide to send in. Definitely could be the Goodra. Goodra is quite bulky. In comes the Goodra. I'm not going to bait. I'm looking to grab the final shield from my opponent. Firing off this Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does get shielded by the Goodra. Goodra looking for the farm down, gets the farm down, and now I think I'm in trouble. They have a lot of energy. I try and go for the catch, but I am unsuccessful in my catch attempt. And they have back-to-back Aqua Tails here, and this is going to do so much damage. This is the downside of Lucario. It's so glassy. In the back, it's Shadow Poliwrath. I'm unable to make the Close Combat. I do make it to a Grass Knot though, so in hindsight, I think maybe if I just Thunder Punched into Grass Knotted, then it would have been closer, but I still think I just get Dragon Breath down by the Goodra at the end of the game. Another positive lead, leading into Annihilate. This time, let's try not to throw it. I'm going to farm up to the Moonblast, wait the turn, and then bait with the Grass Knot. It's hard for opponents to call the bait here, but that's exactly what they do. Oh my goodness. I'm just getting all the reads wrong in these battles. My goodness. They're going to fire off the Shadow Ball. I'm just going to undertap the Grass Knot, and they catch onto an Alolan Sandslash. Save switching an Alolan Sandslash is absolutely wild, because Sandslash, as we see here, is just absolutely crushed by so many things. It's very inflexible. It's very similar to like save switching a Bastiodon. It's just not going to work out for you very well. They do make the Ice Punch, but I do survive with a decent amount of HP. They send in their Annihilate. I'm able to overfarm by 1 and play to charge attack priority because my Annihilate is going to win CMP over basically every other Annihilate. Unless someone else is trying as hard to win this CMP tie in terms of building their IVs on their Annihilate as much as I am, then I should basically win every CMP tie. I will fire off the Night Slash, looking to overfarm quite a bit. Opponent sends in Lickitung, they get the snipe, but now I have a very straightforward win con with Lucario. My opponent, their charge moves are only going to hit for resisted here. So I can tank the Body Slam, and I just need to build up to back-to-back Thunder Punches, and this game is going to be a win. I'm very low. I would love to build up to back-to-back close combats, and then go for close combat BM against the Annihilate, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to play it safe. It is a Lucario. There's a non-zero chance that I could get farmed down by the Lickitung if I throw another counter. So I just build up to the double Thunder Punches. No bad manners close combat, but we are able to take the win. We've got a great lead in the next match, Cresselia versus Lantern, and even better, they're staying in this matchup. Farming up energy, opponent goes for the catch onto Charjabug, and there I mistimed the Moonblast. I could have done one more Psycho Cut and thrown on the third turn instead of the first. Here, I am going to a little bit redeem myself with a catch of an X-Scissor there, anticipating when they were going to throw. But you might think it's only one Psycho Cut of difference. What difference can it make? But at a high level, missing one Psycho Cut of energy can be the difference between winning a game and losing a game. So you really want to try and optimize whenever possible. Here, I will shield up the Discharge because my Annihilate, it's very attack weighted, which does come at a cost. My opponent is going to have very nice energy management here. They're going to throw the Surf right before I make the Shadow Ball, but look at this. Thank you, Spark Nerf. Pre-nerf, I don't get this move. But because of the Spark Nerf, I do get the move. I send in Cresselia, fire off the Grass Knot, and if they want to keep this energy, they're going to have to commit a shield. And they do just that. Cresselia continues to farm. I can tank a Surf or a Thunderbolt. Opponent, however, is running Thunder on the Lantern, which is a surprise. And in the back is Defense Deoxys, a Pokemon I haven't seen for ages, but unfortunately, Deoxys is going to absolutely crush my Lucario in this endgame. Deoxys has fallen off in a major way due to the fact that it honestly has a very terrible matchup into the best fighter in the meta, which is Annihilate. There, I try for a Rock Slide catch. I'm unsuccessful in my attempt at a Rock Slide catch, so now I'm just going to shield the first Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost only hits for neutral, but it's still going to do just a massive amount of damage to Lucario. This is now 2 times debuffed, and it still does a lot. I will fire off the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and they're going to send in the Lantern. I get the farm down. Did I leave with the move? I'm just short. So close, but unfortunately the game is going to end with a loss as Deoxys leaves with the Thunderbolt and KOs Cresselia. We see a very nice lead in the next match, Cresselia versus Mantine. This is a neutral enough lead, but with 2 fighters in the back, catching the flying type on the lead is always going to be a massive win. In this matchup, honestly, I'm not 100% sure what combination of charge moves is required to play this matchup most optimally. I think it might be triple Grass Knot, but I'd be curious to hear in the comments if other people have played this out, because I don't play a ton of Cresselia. I decided to go for 2 Grass Knots and a Moonblast, but after landing the Moonblast, that definitely did too much damage. So my best guess is triple Grass Knot is probably the most efficient way, because I don't think 2 Moonblasts would quite do it. But those are the kind of optimizations that I would like to work on, because I don't play a lot of Cresselia, but just to continually make my gameplay more and more clean. Opponent sends in Annihilate. I'm forced to bring in my own Annihilate. I'm down energy, which is a very uncomfortable spot to be. I am going to commit the shield. It's a Night Slash bait. Oh, that is so unfortunate. I'm going to be baiting back as I fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash gets called. I am making every wrong call. Oh, this is awful. I'm going to double shield. This time I do get the shield call right on the Shadow Ball. The nice thing here is my Annihilate will always win charge attack priority, but I don't really want to play to charge attack priority at the current time, because that means that I'm not going to be able to catch the Shadow Ball, and I have to try and catch the Shadow Ball here. So I'm going to throw the Night Slash, grab the final shield, do one, try for the catch. Opponent holds onto the energy, farming up with Cresselia, and they fire off their Night Slash. But the important thing here is they're one short of the Shadow Ball, and I always win charge attack priority in the mirror. They get the Shadow Ball, but the energy is denied. Night Slash picks up the KO. In comes Shadow Quagsire, and the Quagsire farms up to 5. If they're running Mud Bomb for some reason, this is a loss, but they're running Aqua Tail, and this game is a win, because I can survive the Mud Shots plus an Aqua Tail, so I'm just now in a winning position. Here, the opponent goes for a bad manners Stone Edge, understanding they're not going to be able to get the win there. So I definitely respect the BM Stone Edge, but we get to go for the close combat. Goodbye, Quagsire, and we take the win. Cresselia versus Shadow Gligar, another flying type on the lead. A very neutral matchup. I would argue that probably the most defining matchup of this particular meta is the Cresselia versus Gligar matchup. It is a very neutral matchup across the board, but how it ends up playing out can result in some very different outcomes. Opponent is going to connect with the Dig. They're going to fire off Dig number 2. My Cresselia is not the greatest Cresselia around. I am going to try and trade for a better one over the summer, and hopefully I can get one that gets closer to 1500. The Grass Knot is going to be shielded. I'm going to send in Lucario. Opponent is going to bank a ton of energy, send in the Azumarill, and Azumarill, this is a situation where I'm very happy to have the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch will connect. The question will be, is can I counter it into a range where a second Thunder Punch will KO? They do have energy on the Gligar, but I do win charge attack priority with the Lucario, as Lucario is going to win charge attack priority over basically everything you're going to see. So I will go for the Thunder Punch. That looks like 3 counter range to me, and I do get the farm down. This is terrific. They send in a Swampert, and I click on the wrong move, and they no shield. That is absolutely heartbreaking. El Calvissimo, who I'm battling, is a really, really cracked battler as well. And if I just click on the right move, I instantly win the game because he no shielded. But unfortunately, I clicked the wrong move, and the game ends in heartbreak. We move to the next match, leading Cresselia into Wigglytuff. And last time I saw a Wigglytuff lead, there was a Bastiodon and a Victory Bell in the back. So I'm fully expecting this person is going full toxic on this team. But the good news is since they're staying in this lead, I should be able to crush that back line with mine. I again bait with the Grass Knot on the first one like I always do, because it's a Wigglytuff. The only thing they know how to do is click Shield and click Icy Wind. So now I am going to fire off the Moonblast. I didn't get the snipe last time, but this is a worse Wigglytuff, and I get the snipe. In comes the Shadow Victory Bell. I build up to a potential Ice Punch, and let's see, are they going to fall for it? They do. They commit the shield. They're going to get a big farm down. I'm going to fully wait the timer and then send in Lucario. Much like the last time I played against this team, I'm going to get Acid Sprayed, but realistically, the Razor Leaves are still resisted, and Lucario is very glassy, but I have it at full health. So I should still hopefully be okay. I really don't want to take any more Razor Leaves than I have to, though. So I'm firing off the Thunder Punch just to remove Victory Bell from the field of play. Show me the Bastiodon. In comes the Basti. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Cresselia versus Umbreon. Very happy to have Moonblast here. I'm going to farm up, fire off the Moonblast. For good timing, they should always throw one and the move, so I'm going to throw one Psycho Cut, switch into the Annihilate, get the catch and the sneak, so this way I'm going to be one counter ahead on energy. Opponent sends in a Shadow Charizard, and this is so bad. Oh my goodness. They're going to go for Charge Attack Priority Tie, which is exactly what they should do, and I commit the shield here. I know that I can't get another Night Slash, but I'm hoping that the 2 extra counters are going to put it into Moonblast range, because I really need to rely on the Cresselia to get rid of the Charizard. Cresselia is going to take so much damage from this Shadow Blast Burn. Shadow Charizard is such a scary Pokemon. The Blast Burn connects, I make it to the Moonblast, but at the very least, I got the Charizard out of the way and I have to trust in Lucario to try and sweep the endgame. And Lucario isn't sweeping anything. It's a Shadow Typhlosion in the back. 3 Incinerates. Goodbye, Lucario. And I resign the match. Hopping into the final match, Cresselia versus a non-Shadow Gligar. And I believe this is actually my second time playing this trainer today. I played them in the Whimsicott video where I led Whimsicott into the Gligar and I was actually able to win the game. So I'm definitely happy to see the Gligar on the lead. I don't remember what they had in the back though, but I definitely remember their name and avatar. The dig is going to connect. This is the non-Shadow Gligar, which means 2 Moonblast plus Farm is going to be the way to go here. So I will fire off the next Moonblast. That is going to get the Gligar very low, and now their dig, since they're non-Shadow, not going to come close to knocking out. I'm going to continue to farm. Opponent is going to make it to the Aerial Ace, but I can now send in the Annihilate to get a small energy head start. In comes the Annihilate. Opponent looks like they may not have tapped their screen there. They only got through 1 wing attack when they should have got 2. They send in Skarmory, and my plan here is just to farm until a Shadow Ball will KO. A Shadow Ball doesn't KO from this range, so I'd rather like min-max my energy as much as possible. They catch on an Annihilate. Please tell me for some reason they thought they caught the Night Slash, and they did, and now Lucario just gets to crush the Skarmory. Oh my goodness. There's never a reason for me to Night Slash there, because if I Night Slash, I can't counter down before they make the next move. So I guess, I mean, considering they had an Annihilate in the back, that was the best case scenario of things that could have happened for me. But if they just stayed in with the Swampert, sorry, not the Swampert, the Skarmory. If they stayed in with the Skarmory, I would have been in a very difficult position. But the good news is they tried to catch a move and were able to take the win. Final thoughts on Lucario. I think the Thunder Punch edition is going to make Lucario really interesting in a couple of the limited metas that are on the horizon. Specifically, I know the Fossil Cup is returning, and Fossil Cup oftentimes has a lot of water flyers. There's oftentimes like a Lucario beating Registeel, which is beating the water flyers, so having Thunder Punch should offer a lot of flexibility for it. As far as the Open Grade League, unfortunately, I did go negative with the team. Lucario just has a ton of weaknesses, and while it can output a massive amount of damage, it is very much reliant on not seeing a lot of different meta Pokemon, which is unfortunate. So I definitely do quite enjoy running Lucario, and I'm excited to see what it can do in those future limited metas down the road. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.